Alright, so the timer begins. We hit him with the hatchet. We can see where he's going. We barely see him as we run the corner. Obviously, can't hit shots on any of these since you dropped back to 3.06 meters per second each time you ready up your hatchet. So you kind of got to make significant distance to get ready to throw a hatchet. Right here's where we got our first secure shot at about 52 seconds in. And everything after this are decent opportunities to hit a hatchet. About a minute and 9 seconds in to establish a proper chase, and then about 10 seconds later we get Bloodlust Tier 1 at a minute 20, and then 8 seconds after that we reach M1 range. Then with the made for this perk being off, he's still around the corners right as we see him, but significantly less time. About 26 seconds for the secure shot, and then about 33 seconds to establish the chase, and then about 15 seconds to get Bloodlust Tier 1. And then about 4 more seconds to reach M1 range. As you can see, we got the numbers here. Made for this on versus made for this off. For made for this being on, the first secure shot is 52.57 seconds, and the secure shot for made for this off is 26.33. That's an increase of 99.66%. Not quite double, just shy of double, but it also is this high because it's a 4.4 movement speed compared to a 4.6. And then you got the initiation of the proper chase, where the entity icon starts clicking around the profile icon and it says survivor found in the top right corner, and the music starts. That's 69.25 seconds with the made for this perk compared to 33.61 seconds with the made for this perk off. That's an increase of 106.4%. Obviously, there's a standard deviation between the 99 and the 106, probably from when my character model bumped off a couple of those doors when I was trying to hug the corners tight. So more likely than not, it's probably a 99% increase still as well. Bloodlust is where it gets interesting. With the made for this perk being on, it takes 80.28 seconds. And with the made for this perk being off, it takes 48.72 seconds. Now, that's not 100%, that's 64.78% of an increase, and that's due to the fact that the initial on-hit speed movement burst also gets that 3%. So the on-hit speed burst is normally 165% for 1.8 seconds to get them away. You add 3% on top of that, it's 169.95 seconds, so about 170%. So that's where the big difference comes in here, of why it takes is basically double for the first half of the chase. It basically takes twice as long, but the second half of the chase takes the normal amount of time, being 60%. So that balances it out. Instead of being double across the board, it's about 70 in between for a 4.4. So that's a 64.78% increase between those two because the on-hit speed burst has been lost. And then for the M1 range, made for this being on is 88.16 seconds. And then made for this being off is 52.46 seconds, which is an increase of 68.5%. Obviously, the deviation between those two, 64 and 68, it's probably more along the lines of 60, since the 4.6 meters per second killers are about 35% longer. 60% for 4.4 checks out with the math of being 0.2 meters per second slower, so that's why it seems so significant. Obviously, M1, you're not going to be doing that a lot, but I've had several scenarios already so far where I ran out of hatchets in the end game, and a gate was opened up and I was racing the survivor towards it, and obviously if they just W key it, there's almost nothing you can do. It just takes so long. Your best bet is to try and get Bloodlust, and even then it takes 80 seconds to get Bloodlust if they W key it. So of course I didn't mention the made for this hope combo because there's no point. Even if you gave me 2 hours of chasing a survivor, I'm not going to catch up because the survivor's 110 and I'm 110. So if they're 100 meters away, they'll stay 100 meters away forever, and I'll never make any ground. Overall, that's an average increase of 84% for a slower movement speed killer. Honestly, it's just a pretty wild perk. It's pretty strong. I don't know if they're ever going to nerf it. To be honest, I am a little sad it exists because now Trickster was already hell to play, and he was one of my favorites to play, but he was already tough when they got to safe loops, and now he's pretty much unplayable. The Huntress is definitely more playable because she has the hatchet head that inflicts exhaustion, which completely nullifies the made for this perk, which is pretty nice. So I just run that perk. That's a must run now because people run that perk so much. But yeah, that's it. I just want to show you guys the math real quick on this and get your guys' opinion on. Do you think it's too OP? Or do you think it's totally fine? I do think it's kind of interesting that they limited Boon Shadow Step to 2%, and then they limited it to a Boon totem range, but yet they gave the 3% away for free. I guess because Shadow Step also hides scratch marks, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe to all that good stuff. I'll see you guys in the next one.